As a brownie, I am honest and kind. I help take care of the world around me. I promise to do my best, to be true to myself, my God/faith in Canada, to help other people every day, especially those at home.
I wanted to be a brownie for the uniform and for the badges, and just the idea of like getting badges, of like doing some like, you know, doing the horsewoman badge and like sewing that on.
I promise to do my worst, to do my duty to me. Brownie law. As a brownie, I'm a wire and root. I help stick up the world around me. I promise to do my worst, to be true to myself and only myself. I will give the thing to my teacher every day and stick the brownie law.
I was a good brownie. I was a very goal-oriented brownie who appreciated the badge system. I wanted to get badges. I studied my manual. I wanted to be a sixer. I wanted to be the leader of the pack. And then my family moved to another town, and I was devastated, mostly because I knew that meant I would never get to be sixer.
Yeah, I'll meet you for lunch at 12. But only if you keep that smelly Marjorie away from our table. She makes me lose my appetite with her greasy hair. Yeah, I know. You know that girl Minnie? She's gross too. She doesn't even know what it is. How could you be in grade 4 and not even know what a V is? Duh.
Like brownies sucked. Like they were, you know, little sort of goodies, and I think that it probably had something to do with the fact that, you know, they were too young to really do anything that was cool. Like they were too young to sort of go off to brownie camp. They were too young to be interested in smoking. They were, you know, I mean, I'm sure some brownies were, you know, did sort of have, you know, all kinds of, you know, stuff around sexuality, but there wasn't a whole, you know, there wasn't kind of a taboo thing like there was in guides. I was never a brownie. But I have a story about a gal who was a brownie, and you know, we didn't do such nice things to her, eh? Because I guess, you know, Girl Guides was kind of where we thought it was at. And I think that probably the reason why there was such an attraction to Girl Guides is because of a particular gal, Wendy Main, who she was a smoker and she kissed boys and stuff like that. And she also went to horsey camp and had all kinds of exotic stories about her experiences there. And she was a Girl Guide. So we all joined Girl Guides. And one day there was me and Debbie Broderick and Murray Wilson, and I think Jill Saxby was there. We were all Girl Guides together, and we were over at my house, and Heather Ann Bache, who was the brownie, was there as well, and we thought that we might give Heather Ann a little makeover. So so she was sitting in a chair, and we had the curling iron out, and we were probably about 10 or 11. It would have been like grade 5 or 6, and so she was sitting in the chair, and then Debbie Broderick, who was a very powerful young force in my formative years, decided that we should tie her up. So we did. We tied her up to the chair, and we decided that we'd actually give her a haircut. So we gave her a trim, and I guess one thing led to the next, and she ended up losing a whole lot of her hair, and it's not a very nice story. I mean, it really goes downhill from here. We then, although none of us had started menstruating at that point, there was a lot of talk about menstruation, and We got some of my mother's maxi pads, and we smeared them in ketchup, and I don't know, we put a few on her, like her knee. We made little knee pads, and we attached like some to her shirt, and then we glued some on a pair of underwear and made a little hat for her, and then we made a little sign that we then hung around her neck that said, "I've got my period." Very evil story. And then we proceeded to carry her to the top of the driveway and leave her at the side of the road while we all hid in the bushes. And she actually now works as a therapist, and she has a specialty on women and body image, which is perhaps a little ironic.
Hello there, big guy. You've reached Fox Live to speak to red-hot virgins who want to tell you everything about themselves. You need to have your credit card number and expiry date ready at the tone. You will automatically be charged a fee of $8 for the first 20 seconds and an additional 50 cents for each 30 seconds after that. And remember, in accordance with provincial laws, you must be 18 or older to make this call. Ready? Come on. Give me the number. Come on. Ready?
So I was a bad brownie mostly because I was an unhappy brownie. Because when I started Brownies, my mother, who has this weird relationship with me, decided that she immediately had to become a tawny owl. So she became a tawny owl and then eventually worked her way up the Girl Guide hierarchy. So she was a tawny owl, then she was a snowy owl, and then she became brown owl of my brownie troupe. And so of course it's never fun to be a brownie when your mother is the brown owl. So I acted out in this big way. And I also was stuck being a leprechaun, which is the worst six to be in, because the leprechauns had the dumbest song, which is, "We're the Irish leprechauns helping people when forlorn." And no one knew what forlorn meant, so we would just kind of say, "Fala" at the end. And so I really wanted to be like a pixie or a fairy or anything else, so I was this leprechaun, and I was really, really unhappy. And the other thing I did, and my mother didn't know about this because I used to go to the other owls to get my badges done, was that I always cheated on all my badges. So I would say that I had actually sewn something when I hadn't, or I'd say that I actually helped out around the house, or I would say that I, groomed my dog when I hadn't. So most of my badges were fraudulent.
I never got my badges, even though I made birdhouses and I sewed quilts and knitted things, and never got my badge because I never brought things in. So that's how I was a bad brownie, and I never made it to guides because I didn't have one badge, and I must have been in Brownies, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, and I never got one badge because I was a loser brownie.
So, what's a virgin anyways? Something for girls? I thought it was girls talking dirty for money. I saw it on hard copy once. This girl's dad was crying and crying because she wasn't one anymore. I thought it was about girls not wanting to get married until they get a good job. Maybe that. I know it's something about God too, and how God will be mad if you aren't one. A career lady without a husband? That's what God wants you to be? Yeah, maybe. Anyways, go. Red. R-E-D. Next. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Next. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next. 6. You eat like a man.
We had to put the good deed sheets underneath the mushroom every week, and they were anonymous, so I figured I could say anything I wanted to. So people would put, I helped my mommy with the dishes, stuff like that. And so I started writing outrageous things like saving people from burning houses. And at first she would read them, but then she caught on and she would just sort of open it and start saying, "This little brownie swam the entire..." Then she'd crumple it up, throw it, give me a dirty look.
I told you I need you each to sell at least 10 boxes of cookies so I reach my personal sales projection.
My mother was a bit of a bigwig in Northern Ontario where I grew up, and she was the Girl Guide Commissioner for Northern Ontario, so there was a fair amount of pressure on me to perform
and I didn't respond well to the pressure at all. In fact, I don't think I got any badges. Particularly, I had problems with my knitting badge. Noticed the absence of badges, but I was keen anyway, kind of smirking. This was me several years later, doing the Army Cadet thing, looking a little bit more severe. Anyway, but Brownies was pretty traumatic because people expected that I would be, you know, a stellar Brownie because my mother was a stellar Girl Guide leader. But I was woefully inadequate and constantly acting out and being sent to the corner.
My dad was a Cub and he did so much fun stuff, and so I wanted to do that. I wanted to build fires and go camping, and it was run out of the church near my house, and we didn't go camping. Instead we did shitty stuff like learning how to fold clothes and how to set tables, and it sucked. And we had like an Olympic Games of house chores, and I won the game for setting the table. And so they hoisted me up in front of everyone and praised me, and then asked me who taught me. And so I said my mom taught me, and I have a special trick for remembering how to set the tables. And so they're like, oh, tell us the special trick. And so I explained, like, so imagine how you set a table, and I explained that the knife and the spoon were the brown owl and her sister who was working there too, and they always thought they were right, so they went on the right side, and I was the fork, and I went on the left, but I was actually right, so that's why I got the napkin.
And we were supposed to be flying up to guides, and actually we were all sitting there, and I thought I'd be flying up because I didn't know, I guess I wasn't really aware that you had to have the proper amount of badges to fly up, but I didn't have the prerequisites, I guess. And so when they called my name, the brown owl took me aside and told me that I would not be flying up. In fact, I would be walking up. So when all these nice girls got their nice little silver wings, I got a pair of cardboard shoes. And I was so mortified because I thought, you know, I could at least be one of them, and I could be up there on the on the stage with them and their nice beautiful silver wings, and I couldn't be, and so I got these shitty cardboard pin things to pin to my sweater, and I had to walk. When they got to do the nice ceremony and fly beautifully up, I just walked.
I never wanted to be a Brownie. Like, I always thought it was a really, like, Goyish, like, not Jewish thing to do. It never occurred to me that a Brownie would be something to be, and I just thought they were total nerds, like.
You can't be in the pixie circle for real, only for Brown Owl. But you aren't a real pixie if you don't know what a V is. That means that you can't sleep in the Pixies cabin when we go to Camp Acapulco. So find the cabin that will take you, you loser.
And they used to meet in the library of their public school, and she said they had this game where they would take all the cushions off of the sofa, and they could make this little house with all the cushions in it, and it was long enough that you could fit someone inside it. And she won't really go into details, but she just says she has this memory of being inside this little house of cushions and handing out her clothing piece by piece to all the other Brownies.
This makes me so mad. I was supposed to get my music badge this week. Stupid Brown Owl. Stupid, huh? Well, I really don't mean stupid. I just think it's very inconsiderate for others to cancel a meeting at the last minute. And being considerate is part of being a Brownie. Yeah, you're so good at that. Don't worry, you'll get your double badge next week. Let's get the toadstool out then. Toot-toot. That's that stupid old paper mache piece of crap. What are we gonna do with that? How could you be so awful? Why are you? I'm not. I just want to be a good Brownie. That's all. Why do you care? If you don't like it, why do you even come to Brownies? Duh, my mom's made me. One's a feminist and she thinks it's good for me to be in an all-girl environment. And the other one says it's good to be in competitive sports. Wow. What are we gonna do now? I'm glad there is no meeting. Let's play basketball or something. I know. Let's sing. My paddle's green and white, flashing with silver. Follow the white goose flight, dip, dip, and swing. Dip, dip, and swing her back, flashing with silver. Follow the white goose flight, dip, dip, and swing. Boom, diddy-yada, boom, diddy-yada, boom. Boom, diddy-snada, boom, diddy-snada, boom. Hey, check out my bongo drum.
Hey! You kids shouldn't be in here alone.
Once there was a little girl who went to Brownies, and she loved to play. And she loved to play, play, and play. When one of the teachers were telling her something.